Hey guys, welcome back to Cars IQX. Today we're diving into something that feels less like a car reveal and more like a glimpse into the future of muscle cars. You know, Ford has always kept the Mustang spirit alive, power, style, and that little bit of rebellion that makes people stop and stare. But this time they've gone so far into uncharted territory that even longtime Mustang fans are asking themselves, wait, is this really still a Mustang? Well, buckle up because we're talking about the brand new Ford Mustang GTD Liquid Carbon. And trust me, this one's gonna blow your mind. So imagine this, you walk into a showroom and see a Mustang with no paint at all. No glossy reds, no deep blues, no matte blacks. Instead, what you see is raw, woven carbon fiber covering every inch of the body. The reflections from the lights bounce off the weave like it's alive, almost like the car itself is flexing its muscles. That's what the Liquid Carbon Edition is all about. Ford literally stripped away the paint and left nothing but the raw material. And let's be real, this isn't just a style choice. This is weight saving at its finest. Just by skipping the paint, they shaved off almost 13 pounds. And when you're building a car meant to tear through tracks and twisty roads, every single pound matters. Quick audience question here. If you had to choose, would you rather have a flashy, brightly painted supercar, or would you go for this raw, exposed carbon look that screams race car DNA? Let me know in the comments, because personally, I think there's something brutally honest about this design. It's like the car is saying, this is me, no filters. But let's get into the heart of it, because looks alone don't make a Mustang. Underneath that carbon shell lies a monster, Ford's supercharged 2-liter V8. And this isn't your run-of-the-mill V8. This thing is pushing out around 815 horsepower. That's more power than most exotic cars, twice the price. And if you're wondering about performance numbers, we're talking 0 to 60 in just about 3 seconds, and a top speed that creeps past 200 miles per hour. So yeah, this isn't just a car you park in the garage to show off at weekend meets. This thing was born to dominate on the track. And speaking of the track, Ford actually chose Laguna Seca to debut this car, which says everything you need to know about its DNA. Laguna Seca is a playground for serious drivers. It's technical, fast, and unforgiving. You don't take a car there unless you're confident it can back up the hype. And the GTD Liquid Carbon did exactly that. Now here's a fun quiz for you Mustang fans out there. What year did Ford originally launch the very first Mustang? Drop your guesses in the comments. No cheating. I'll give you a hint. It was during a time when rock and roll was exploding, and people wanted cars that matched their youthful energy. Back to the GTD, this thing isn't just about brute force, it's about precision too. The Liquid Carbon comes standard with the full performance package. That means magnesium wheels, semi-active suspension that adapts to the road or track, and aerodynamic features that keep the car glued to the ground when you're pushing it at high speeds. And while it may sound small, Ford even cut back on sound insulation just to shed weight, so inside you're going to hear that V8 roar in its rawest form. Some people might call it loud, but for enthusiasts like us, it's music. Speaking of inside, let's step into the cabin for a second because the design language continues there too. Picture this, black leather and suede mixed with neon hyperlime stitching. It's bold, futuristic, and gives you that race-ready vibe the second you sit down. Even the seats have a gradient effect running down the center, which makes them look sporty without going over the top. It's almost like Ford is saying, well, we know you're buying this for performance, but we're not going to let style take a back seat. Now let me ask you another question because I'm curious. If you were given the chance to drive the GTD Liquid Carbon for just one day, would you take it to the track to unleash all that power, or would you cruise through the city just to watch everyone's jaws drop as you roll by? I think I'd do both. Start on the streets just to show off a little, then end the day with some lap times at the track. Here's another cool thing. This Mustang is like a spiritual cousin to the Ford GT Liquid Carbon from a few years back. Remember that one? It was Ford's hypercar, built for serious collectors with exposed carbon just like this. But now Ford is bringing that same philosophy into the Mustang family, and that's something I don't think any of us expected. It blurs the line between supercar and muscle car, which is wild to think about. And just in case you're wondering, no, you're probably not going to see one of these at your local dealership. The GTD is super limited, and it's not even going to be mass-produced like a regular Mustang. We're talking about a car built for exclusivity, for those who want something that screams rarity the moment it hits the streets. But if you're thinking about trying to grab one, better get your checkbook ready because it's going to cost a fortune. Official pricing hasn't been revealed yet, but word on the street is it'll be around $300,000. That's right, a Mustang with a price tag in the supercar league. And while that sounds insane, considering the engineering and exclusivity, Ford knows collectors are going to line up anyway. So yeah, the Ford Mustang GTD Liquid Carbon isn't just another car, it's a statement. It's raw power, futuristic styling, and exclusivity all rolled into one package. And whether you love it or hate it, you can't ignore it. Ford has taken a muscle car legend and turned it into something that belongs in the supercar world. Here's the final quiz for you guys. If you had to choose, would you go for the GTD Liquid Carbon with all its raw, track-focused madness? Or would you rather have a more traditional luxury supercar like a Ferrari or a McLaren? Drop your pick in the comments. I want to see where you all stand. All right, that's all for today's deep dive into the Mustang GTD Liquid Carbon. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more car content, and share this video with your fellow gearheads. Until next time, keep those engines roaring.